guys, I'm here to show you how to put together and review this solar powered watering kit that I bought on Amazon over the winter. Super small box. When I bought it, it was less than $20 in January. It was a lightning deal. Right now it's about $30. It comes with some teeny tiny little gardening tools. Give them to your kids or whatever, but everything you need down to the scissors are even here in the kit. There's some directions that will show you exactly how to put it together. It's really pretty self-explanatory. The big key thing to pay attention to is this piece right here, making sure that the flat side goes towards the pump and the rounded side is going towards your pots, or in my case, my watering bed. It's got 3 pieces that go into your bucket of water. One is where the water goes in, and that goes in the in because it's sucking the water up. It's got a little filter and it's weighted to keep it down. And then these 2 silver things, I'll show you in a minute, are the sensors so that the pump doesn't burn out, so it knows that it actually has water in it and it's good to go. So like I said, it comes with tools, comes with a pair of scissors. This is, it's got little marbles in it. You can see that's where the water gets sucked up to. Here's the blue things are your droppers that go in your flower pot or your bed, your little teas. And then there's that little inlet. You can see how it's flat on this side and curved on that side. I'll take it out later. As we continue to go through, there's, I think, 49 feet of tubing. I bought a few of these, so I actually have some from my other kit. I'm going to use that first and save this for later. Here are the 2 metal sensors that go in your bucket of water, rain barrel, bucket of water, whatever you're using. And then this is what plugs into the pump, and it has a little twisty to keep the water tight. Here's your solar power pump, and then it has a bracket to mount it that has an angle, and then you have a spike to stick it in. So if we look in close, you can see, it's kind of hard for me to see because it's bright out here, but you have a power button, a hour and minute button, and when you hit the hours, it's however many hours you want it to go off. So once every 12, 24, 48, 72, or 96 hours. And then the minutes are 3, 5, 10, 15, and 20 for how long you want it to go. And I can show you more later when I go to turn it on, how it goes. But setting it up is really simple. So it has a screw on the back. You take this end, you stick it in the hole, and then you thread this down. You want to thread it as tight as you can, but not super tight because you might need a new plug someday. Okay, so it's plugged in. It has a little wire. It's all packaged actually quite nicely. And then this goes in the bucket, rain barrel, water reservoir. And then, as you saw, this just pops on. And there's a notch here and a notch here. And that part's done. There's a nut so you can angle it so you get the sun. I'm just going to go straight up because my sun tracks east to west this way. So I'm just going to have it pretty much straight up, and you just stick it in here. So first thing you got to do is, this is going to go from the pump. Remember I said the flat part goes facing the pump. You want to push it on there super good. And then you take the other side on the rounded edge, push that on, And now we start with our drippers. And the tees. So, when you want to put your first dripper, you cut it. You put a tee. My neighbor's kiddos are home at spring break. And then you put another tee. Oh, most important part. You cut about 2 inches, 3 inches for the cross. Push it on. This is where your pipe continues. This little piece is where your dripper goes. The water goes through this little design, and then it comes down this hole. It's on both sides, and it drips into your soil. So this is the only part you got to be careful, is that when you push it in, that you don't bend those or break those too much. But it goes on. That's the easiest part. So there's your dripper, first one. This goes into the in, and now I'm just going to space them every 12 inches or so and put another drip. What I like to do, because I've put, this is my 1, 2, 3, this is my 4th one, I like to cut 3-inch sections and do all of my dripper parts at one time. Makes it go a little faster. Okay, so then I take a couple blue drippers and I just slide them on. Do it assembly line style. First one took my husband and I forever reading the directions, trying to figure it out, and making sure we did it right, because you gotta cut it, and once you cut it, you can't uncut it. So now that we know what we're doing, it's really quite simple. The directions were pretty self-explanatory. The biggest thing you will have to do is play with your timing on the minutes and the pumps and the gallons using, because I sat down with pen and paper this morning and did the math, and I think it's using more water than the pump says it's supposed to pump out, which isn't a bad thing. It's just making sure that you're aware of it, and you either have enough water in your bucket, water your bucket more frequently, or you cut back your water timings. Those over there. Now that I have my pile of drippers, I'm going to take a tee, and these go on the one that sticks out. I like to do it this way because I find it a little bit easier to have this part done, and then you can just take the big long tube and wrap it around and cut, plug, plug, cut, plug, plug, cut, plug, plug, and go around. So you're not sitting, kneeling, precarious positions, whatever you want to call it. I can sit comfortably in my yard and assemble these pieces all together. You can use this in a raised bed like I'm doing. You can use this when you go on vacation for your house plants. You can use this for your back patio plants. It's a lot easier for me to fill a probably a 15-gallon bucket. I'll show you my buckets here in a little bit that I have, and they were just something that was given to me for free with some iris bulbs last year. So using what I have at the community garden plot, I have a 32-gallon trash can that I bought on Walmart pickup, and that is what's working for me. So I'm gonna close this up. I still have some teas left and some blue drippers, but this should be enough for my raised bed, and I can always make more. So back to, there's not a whole lot of this left, but that's okay because I have, oh, nope, I lied. I have more over here. So we're just gonna go plug it on. And if you don't want them evenly spaced, you can do this all the way around your bed as you figure out where your plants are going to be or where your pots are going to be. I just know that I have a 4 foot by 2 foot oval bed, and every 12 to 18 inches will be fine for what I need it to do. And then the very last tee that you do, you don't need to use one of these, you just put a blue dripper on the end, and that's how you end it. And we are nearly done, and we're 10.5 minutes in. It's a very simple system, and this way I can just make sure every day or two that it's filled. And the most important part for me, because where I live we have a lot of mosquitoes and I don't want to get bit by mosquitoes, is they make mosquito dunks that are an organic, all natural bacteria that you can buy and plop one in, and every month or two you need to replace one, but it will kill any mosquito larvae that get laid in there, so it will not be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. And it's an all natural organic option to do. You got grass in your face. And then here's the last one I have for right now, but let's see once I stick them in my bed how that works. And lastly, the only tip I can advise is if this does not want to go on the inlet of the, or this goes on the out, if it doesn't want to go on smoothly, take a little lighter, light it, and it melts it just a little bit to slide it on there. You don't want to do it too much because you want it to be tight, but you need to do it a little to stretch it onto that piece. These all pressure fit perfectly by hand. This is the only part that my husband and I struggled a little bit to get on there, and I'll show you that in a minute. Alright, I've turned you around. I have not done anything yet. So, this is where the bucket, there's my bucket. I have no idea how many gallons it is, but that's okay. So, this is where my pump is going to go. My bucket is going to go where I'm currently sitting. So, we're on the back here. And, as I said, we have find the end here. So this is the end of my line with drippers. What did I say? We end it with a T, with just one of the drippers and no T. That's the end. Just pressure that on, and that's how it ends. So now I still have all of this tubing, which is still from the other kit. That's how much they give you, so that way you have plenty of room with this kit to words are hard, people. You have all the time to stretch to different pots, so there's no major thing. So this is for our inlet. Remember, that sucks up the water. It's got a little filter. It's weighted so it sinks. This is the in and the out that I was talking about. So we're going to make the in first, and like I said, these are kind of hard, so you just take your lighter and give it a little warm. It will help it stretch a little bit. And you really want to make sure it gets on there because you don't want it to pop off, either where it sucks it in or where it spits it out. Ask me how I know this. So, I'm going to put this back in here. Now we got to figure out the length to go to the bottom of my bucket. And you want it to be able to reach the bottom of the bucket. So, I'm going to cut it right here. And again, look at all of this we have left over. There's probably, let's see, 8 to 12 feet left. So this goes on the end of the intake. Again, you got to make sure it's really pressure mounted on there good and tight. If you need to use a little heat, you can, just not too much that it melts it, because you want it to be able to tighten back up around it. And then that just plop in there with our sensors. And I've got, when I put it in place, I've been putting a piece of duct tape on the inside and the outside just to secure it so that nothing knocks it. Now we find our end that has the flat part sticking towards the pump, and we're going to do this again, stick it, but it goes on the out. So we're going to take our little lighter, I'm going to put it behind here because there's wind. It's windy. Hasn't been windy all day until I try to use a lighter. Nope, not enough. Let's try that again. All right, and now that's on there. Put it back in one final time. And now, the fun part. You just take all your drippers and stick them in the ground wherever you want. And like I said, you can do this as you go, or because like I know, I'm planting tomatoes in this bed. I'm gonna want them every 12 to 18 inches. And I already have some volunteers growing, and you're just sticking them in. Stick them in all the way around. And I think my drippers just turned you off. So hopefully you're still there and the other stuff recorded. And then here's my last one, right in the middle. So if I pick you up, you can see they're all around, one in the middle, and you have some volunteer tomatoes. I think those are some volunteer tomatoes too, growing. And then I'll show you, once I fill my bucket up with water, how that looks. I've got my water. I'm gonna fill up my bucket here. So while that's filling up, I can show you the back here. It's as simple as you hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then I want every 24 hours it to water my plants for 5 minutes. And now that I have enough water in my bucket, I hit the power button one time. You can hear that it's turned on. And if I pick up a dripper, there's the water dripping. And still not full yet. But if I take you all the way to the end of my line, this was our last dripper, right? There it goes. Full volume. And of course you can bury this. I got plenty of room when we're going, but here we are at what, 16, 17 minutes total, start to finish, no editing, other than when my lovely phone shut off. Full system. All I got to do is fill these buckets. I've got one in that bed too. My yard's a mess. I'm doing all the yard cleanup today. But I'm going to get a cover made for these. Put a mosquito dunk in each one. And then I can just fill them up and walk away, and they will continuously be fed 5 minutes of water every 24 hours. And then because of those these sensors, it will never run dry, because if they're dry, the pump just doesn't go off. And like I said, my sun goes east to west. It's up there. I don't know if you can see it. It's a cloudy day, and it is, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 4:45. So my sun's up here, and it will be over there. So basically, straight up will give me maximum sun exposure. And then I have one more for that bed I have to dig out and install and clean up and get ready. But I'm super excited for my volunteer tomatoes that are right there, because I don't know what they are, and I love a good mystery. And there might be one right there too. I'm gonna let that grow a little longer till I get some leaves to see. Thanks, hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.